Hi everyone, this is Yolanda from CraftySentiments.com, and I have another video for you today. Today's video, I want to create a thank you card, and I'm going to use the following items to do so. This will be a really great card to create and mass produce if you need to make a lot of thank you cards, because it goes by really quickly, it doesn't use a lot of materials, and the end result is really great. So what I'm going to be using, the stamp sets, are the birthday blooms, and I'm using this image here, the little flower. I'm also going to be using the flourishing phrases stamp set, but I'm only going to use the sentiment thank you so very much. But this is a really great stamp set because you can do so much with it. The colors I'm using today are Bermuda Bay, Pear Pizzazz, and the archival basic black ink. I'm also going to have my aqua painter, Wink of Stella, bone folder, snail adhesive, and some dimensionals. So let's get started. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way and show you what I have. The cardstock that I'm using today is the base of my card is going to be a Whisper White, and I just use the regular Whisper White. Normally I use the thick, but this time I just used the regular Whisper White, and it's measured at 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4 inches. I have a piece of the Bright Designer Series paper. This measures 2 inches by 5.5. I have a piece of, and this is all in Bermuda Bay. This is the Bermuda Bay cardstock that measures 3 1/4 by 2 1/4, and I have a small piece of Whisper White that measures 2 inches by 3 inches. So let's get started. Move some of this out of the way. The first thing that I'm going to do is stamp the image on this little piece of cardstock, and I'm going to set it aside while I do the other stamping so this can dry just a little bit. When you're using the basic black or the basic gray archival inks, they stay wet a little bit longer, and so I just want to make sure that it's dry. You can use the heat tool to set it, to dry it, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to stamp the image on. Let it absorb. Pretty good. And set this aside for just a second. The other one, I already have that one mounted. And what I do, I don't know, I'm going to fold this and score it. And burnish it. Kind of opening it back up. And I want to kind of gauge where the sentiment is going to go. So this is actually going to go all the way at the bottom. And you're wondering why don't I just stick it down and mark that? Because basically if I mess it up stamping, then I've messed up this piece of cardstock as well. So I'm going to hold it in place and stamp it, and if it's okay, then I'll glue it down. But if not, then I'll just remove it and get a new piece and stamp over that. So now let's see if I can stamp it without making any mistakes. Very good. So I'm finished with the basic black. I'm going to move this out of my way so I don't get it all over the place. And now I can go ahead and tack this down, glue it down. And it's going to go all the way to the edge of the cardstock as you saw before. So tack that down. And it's in place. So I'm going to set this aside for just a moment. And I'm going to come back to my little piece here. And I'm going to use a little bit of the aqua painter and make like a watercolor. And in order to get this in the top of the lid so I can use it as a palette, when you have your stamp set closed, you squeeze it, and it deposits a little bit of ink in the lid. So that's what I'm going to use. Just a little bit of ink. I don't need a lot. And again, one of the reasons you don't need a lot of color and a lot of water on this, because this is the regular Whisper White and it's not the watercolor paper. So you have to be careful that you don't saturate this paper with too much color and too much water. So that's fine with that. That's all the Bermuda Bay that we're going to use. Now I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz for the stem. And you see I already have a little bit of Pear Pizzazz in the lid. So we're just going to color it. And you might notice that sometimes when you watercolor or when you're stamping, excuse me, the colors are really dark, but they lighten up as they dry. Excuse me, I had to turn that off for a second so I could cough. Something is tickling my throat. And there you go with that. That's all we're going to use. So I can put that aside. Now I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. I kind of need to let this dry for a second. So I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. I just need a couple. And we're just about done with this card. So we're going to center it onto our Bermuda Bay. And we're going to attach it to the card like so. And the last thing I'm going to do is just add just a little bit of Wink of Stella. And I hope I can get some out. I think I'm just about out of my Wink of Stella. I have to get a new one. Yeah, that's just about out. Let me try the other one. They're both just about gone. Well, what this does adds a little bit of sparkle to it. You might not be able to see it too well on camera, but it does add a bit of sparkle. Yeah, I can see it on there. I'm not sure if you can. Yeah, that'll work. Make sure you don't run out of your supplies, because I had 2 of them. I just knew I had enough, but obviously I don't. So I don't know if you can kind of see that. It sparkles just a little bit. So the last thing that I did, I had some silver, what do they call this? Dazzling details. And I had a piece of silver, some silver here. I need a small piece of cardstock. And I just want to do a couple of little dollops for the stamen. That's about it. And they look kind of big, but they dry. It's wet, but it dries clear, and it goes down to a harder finish. And that's it for our card today. Quick and easy. And I made another one using a different color. This is in the Bermuda Bay with the Bermuda Bay Designer Series paper. And this is using the Sweet Sugar Plum with the Sweet Sugar Plum Designer Series paper. And in the Designer Series paper, you get 4 different designs. So this one I used the little flowers, and this one I used the little polka dots. But that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you all so much for stopping by. And please leave a comment in the section below. I love to hear from you. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it out to your friends. If you have any questions about any of the products that I used today, I'll leave a copy of all the products in the description below. And if you would like to join my team or find out some more information about how I can be your demonstrator, I would love to give you that information and be your demonstrator. So just leave me a comment below or contact me. There will be a link below as well. Again, this is Yolanda from CraftyCinnamon's.com. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.